morning and welcome to today's almost daily devotional. We're going to be in the prophet Jeremiah. And this week's theme, this week in worship, we're going to be listening to the scriptures from John 6, where Jesus talks about being the bread of life. And so all of our devotions this week are going to be leading up to that scripture on Sunday to help us be more prepared for worship. And so I invite you to listen to this story in that context. We're going to start with verse 5. The Lord proclaims, "Cursed are those who trust in mere humans, who depend on human strength and turn their hearts from the Lord. They will be like a desert shrub that doesn't know when relief comes. They will live in the parched places of the wilderness, in a barren land where no one survives. Happy are those who trust in the Lord, who rely on the Lord. They will be like trees planted by the streams, whose roots reach down to the water. They won't fear drought when it comes. Their leaves will remain green. They won't be stressed in the time of drought or fail to bear fruit." The most cunning heart is beyond help. Who can figure it out? I, the Lord, probe the heart and discern hidden motives to give everyone what they deserve, the consequences of their deeds. I've been hearing a lot from people lately about this idea that we don't know who to trust. That it's hard to know who's telling you the truth, who knows what they're talking about, who the experts are in any situation, whether we can even trust the experts sometimes. And it's a profound cynicism, I think, that we've all developed that leads first with a distrust of other people. That first we lead with the edge of distrust or assuming the worst from someone else or assuming that the other person has nefarious intent. And that makes it difficult and challenging to live in the world, I think. What we hear here from Jeremiah is the idea that if we trust completely in human power, whatever human it is, whichever humans we decide to trust, then we're always going to be disappointed. That if we put all of our faith, all of our hope into one person or any person solely, or any group of people solely, then we're going to have problems. We're going to have troubles because people are people and they're fallible and they're going to make mistakes. But that doesn't mean we can't trust anybody or anything. Doesn't mean that we're the only people with truth and righteousness, because we're just as fallible as everybody else. What Jeremiah reminds us of is that true blessing, true beliefs, true faith, true happiness is rooted in how much we are able to trust God. How much we're able to stop and to listen to the voice of God leading us. And that's hard sometimes. It's hard to wait and listen for God to speak. It takes intention. It takes purpose. It takes a meaningful desire to listen for the voice of God and to be able to know when it's just us talking. And a couple of the ways that we know that: one, if it sounds too much like your own voice, it probably is. God is always challenging people to grow, to change, to see things in a different way, in a slightly different way. And so if everything that you hear God telling you sounds exactly like what you would tell you, then that's probably not God speaking. Another way that we can know that is by the fruits of the person. So if this person that you have trusted has shown fruits that don't reflect what God's kingdom is, if this person to whom you have given all of your allegiance to, all of your ability to believe in, shows themselves to not be speaking truth, then they're probably not speaking from God either. And the third way that we know that is whether following this person brings us peace and brings us closer to God and brings us contentment in God's world, in God's kingdom. If you find yourself seeking after someone who does not lead you closer to God's kingdom, then you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be content. You're going to constantly be unmoored from reality, from God's reality. And so I invite you to consider, how does trusting a human power leave you unrooted? How does believing too much in someone else, or only trusting one person instead of trusting God, lead you to an empty place? And how do we take steps towards listening to God's voice?